This is Tom Fox. I'm the Compliance Evangelist. I hope you will plan to join me this year at Converge 19. Converge is the great conference put on by Conversant, the sponsor of this podcast, and it's in its fourth year of bringing together some of the world's leading companies for 2 days of dynamic speakers, thought-provoking breakout sessions, and opportunities to connect with like-minded professionals. You will leave the conference with new resources and best practices, allowing you to continue the hard work of driving ethics to the center of your business. In this podcast, we visit with some of the upcoming speakers for Converge 19. Today, I have with me Rebecca Rehm and Matt Doherty. Rebecca is the compliance business partner at Olympus Corporation of America, and Matt Doherty is the lead compliance officer at Mercer. We discuss their upcoming presentation at Converge 19, Drip, 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 leveraging your training program to move your compliance program from good to great. I know you will enjoy it. It will be an excellent presentation. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back with another episode, and I have with me Rebecca Rehm. She is the compliance business partner, and Matt Doherty, the lead compliance officer at Mercer. First of all, thank you guys for taking the time to visit with me today. So I was wondering, Rebecca, if you could start off by giving us your professional background and your current position.
Sure, Tom. Thanks so much. So I'm Rebecca Rehm, and I come from a training and education background. I've been in the ethics and compliance field for about 7 years now. I started out at what was then the Ethics and Compliance Officer Association as the director of the education programs there, now the Ethics and Compliance Initiative, or ECI. And, really dug into the ethics and compliance space and grew to love it, and decided to move in-house where I am now at Olympus Corporation of the Americas as a compliance business partner. So I'm in a front-facing role supporting our medical device business out of our Boston area office.
Thanks, Tom. So I've actually been with Mercer and the Marsh McLennan companies for just over 18 years now. I transitioned from the business about 15 or so years ago, and moved into a role where I was supporting our U.S. and Canada businesses. And then I gradually moved into sort of an operations role, where I've sort of grown and developed our operations team, where I currently sit over our global operations team, where I'm responsible for our global training communications, all of our knowledge management, such as our gifts and entertainment request forms, online content such as policy and procedures. And I also am responsible for operations, which is a big area. Part of the strategy that I put into place a number of years ago now was to centralize regional processes under our team, leveraging an offshore group in India and Poland. So we do everything from our trade sanctions review process to training, management reporting, as well as a number of other activities.
I was wondering if you all could give a teaser about your upcoming talk at Converge 19, which generally revolves around leveraging technology to evolve your ethics and compliance program.
Absolutely, Tom. So Matt and I have been doing some good work planning for this session based on the work we're doing at our companies. And so I'll start with a little bit. What we're really thinking about is how do we create a campaign for training and communications in the compliance space, and move away from kind of the way things have been done in the past, and really evolve our programs. And so I'll start with some things we're doing at Olympus. So what we've done in the past is we've had a comprehensive training program, and that's primarily meant with all of our policies. We've had long form LMS modules that go out on an annual basis to the appropriate employees. And it's been a good, solid program and has worked well with our government agreements. And now we want to evolve from that. And so what we've been trying to do is move away from the annual, one-time long training and develop more of a drip marketing campaign throughout the year. So we're trying to evolve those long LMSs into short micro learnings and videos and more interactive and entertaining sessions, definitely throwing in some humor. And then continuing that message throughout the year, because we know that adult learners, they forget a lot of what we hear. And so we want to make sure we reinforce those important messages. And because of that forgetting, we'd rather not throw 30 minutes of content at them once a year. We'd rather throw 5 minutes at them at the beginning of the year, and then at regular points throughout. So we're doing things like at Olympus, we're inserting one slide into a business unit newsletter that goes out monthly with a quick reminder or an FAQ. We're doing, like I said, some short videos and using humor in those, making some quick updates at business meetings, sending emails to different business units. And so we're using some of those shorter form methods to communicate throughout the year and to do some micro learnings throughout the year. And in doing so, we're planning for that annual communication and training plan to ensure that we meet our needs and keep that message going. It's also a great way to continue to have touch points with the business to remind them not just of these particular topics, but that compliance is a resource, all the time, not just at that annual training.
Tom, we've been evolving in similar ways as Olympus has. From the old way where emails were very common, we're really moved away from that. And it's been a gradual change, but over the last couple of years, we've transitioned our focus to activity and risk-based training communications. And we've been trying to leverage infographics and animated videos. To the point mentioned before, everyone learns differently. So we're really trying to give all types of options to our colleagues to consume the information and understand it, whether it's reviewing a long-form policy, a simplified infographic, or a 60-second short animated video. The videos have really been a popular approach here at Mercer, where I have really two approaches that we're taking. One, I've developed a animated series. Really, it's played off of a morning talk show with a late night spin called Good Morning Mercer, and it's a 2.5-minute animated show where the colleagues are really business folks talking compliance. So it gives us that ability to add a little humor while not taking the seriousness away as if it was a compliance officer as the host. And we're trying to roll those out on a periodic basis, keeping them short, but long enough that we really hit the key points, and people really have seemed to enjoy them so far. The other thing we're doing is deploying this just-in-time concept, and we're trying to find ways to get information to the right colleagues at the right time. So a simple example could be, the upcoming Super Bowl for 2020, where we might want to focus on gifts and entertainment. So instead of posting online a gifts and entertainment article or an infographic where we hope people see it, we're going to get that information directly to those that are most likely to be impacted. So we're going to hit our consultants in the Miami offices and other Florida offices because they're the ones that are more likely to attend an event with a client than, let's say, someone here in Boston where I reside. So again, we're trying to find new ways to get information into our colleagues' hands. We're trying to make it more interesting, a little more fun. Ideally, that if they experience one of these videos, they're more likely to watch one again because they enjoyed it the first time. So that's something we're trying to do here, and we're continuing to evolve and looking for new ideas. And we're hoping with this conference, presenting to the attendees, we'll also have a lot of takeaways ourselves where we can continue to improve what we're doing on our end at Mercer as well as at Olympus.
So one of the things the Department of Justice has, I think, continually talked about in terms of training is moving in the direction that both you guys have articulated. But I wondered, does both of the ways you're moving give you the ability to create an audit trail or some other form of documentation which would allow you to present your training program and your communications, your ongoing communications, if a regulator ever came knocking?
I feel what we're doing gives us a better opportunity to support any requests we may get from a regulator because, when we used to send an email, you distribute an email, and I know there's a way to track things now, but you would just hope that someone would open it and read it. And then we moved towards, okay, let's focus on internet postings. The problem with internet posting is we can see the number of people reviewing the materials. So we hope to hit 20,000 people, and yet the internet post might say only 100 people viewed it. So it really shows that we're not communicating or we're not educating as much as we want to. So by being more targeted with the approach that we're taking, we're identifying the colleagues that we're going to be sending the messages to, and we're recording that in different ways. Some of our videos are issued through our learning platform, so there's tracking that way, and others we're sending designated messages to colleagues, so we're able to track who we sent it to using one of our communication logs and so forth. So in the event someone says, have you ever communicated on your code of conduct or in this particular topic, we'll have some solid information to provide.
One of the things about Converge is, in addition to the great educational components that you guys are a part of, are the ongoing discussions and communications between the attendees or with the attendees, between the sessions at lunch, at dinner, and those sorts of informal settings. You both, I think, said, or certainly Matt, you talked about getting some new ideas. I was wondering if you could maybe give a few thoughts around the other part of this conference, which is meeting people that are really, if not leading the discussions around evolving compliance programs, people interested in learning about new ideas and implementing them in their compliance solution.
Yeah, I can take a stab at this one, Matt. So absolutely, Tom. I think that's something that makes the Converge conference unique. And so Matt and I have talked about how do we take advantage of the knowledge that's in the room. The thing I hate is when you go to a conference and you have somebody presenting and they never ask all the knowledgeable people sitting in the room, well, what are you doing? And getting those ideas. So Matt and I want to make sure that we give that opportunity to the people in the room. And so we're going to have a couple of opportunities for those who attend our session to share, how they're delivering their training, what innovative methods are they using. And then we're planning on a takeaway that can help people work through, if they're more in the infancy of their program, how do they approach a more evolved training program, with a risk-based approach, targeted training and communications, and then utilizing some of the innovation that we all will talk about in the room. So we're excited about that.
Well, guys, unfortunately, we are near the end of our time, but I wanted to thank you both for taking the time to visit with me, and I greatly look forward to hearing your presentation at Converge 19. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox again. I hope you'll plan to join me for Converge 19. It's going to be a great conference, probably one of the top conferences of this year, both in terms of educational sessions, breakout sessions, and individual moderated conversations. I know you will enjoy it. I have a few discount codes available for complimentary passes to Converge 19. So if you're interested, please email me at tfox@tfoxlaw.com. You can find out more information about the conference on the show notes that accompany this podcast.